So I was hanging out with my dad yesterday at home for a little while, and my mom calls me. my real mom, like my mom from Canada. And you know, it's a little awkward. I'm pretty sure you guys know my parents are divorced. It's very complicated, but they haven't really spoken to each other in a very long time. You know, Asians, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but like I feel like Asians, we don't really like keep in touch with exes or like divorcees or something. So like my mom calls and I tell my dad like, oh, mom's calling, so I'm gonna pick up. So, you know, I kind of just thought he would just kind of keep quiet, sort of. And I pick up, I'm like, hi, Mom. And she's like, how's Japan? I was like, it's really fun. And my dad, like, comes around and he's like, hey. I was like, okay. But, like, yeah, it was really, like, awkward. But my dad and my mom were kind of, like, just asking each other. She's like, oh, yeah, how's it been? How's work been? I think my parents are really, like, they're besties. They really are. Like, they don't really talk to each other anymore, but there's just something underneath where you know you can trust them. Like, especially if it's, like, regarding me. Like, for example, if I were to ever be in trouble, I'm pretty sure, like, my dad would contact, like, my mom and my aunt, and my mom would probably do that to my dad, too. So, like, in a weird way, we're still family. So, you know, that's really nice. Yeah, like, they caught up with each other, and my dad was asking how my mom's health was, and she was just like, yeah, it's just the way it is. Just, like, the most depressing answer ever. She's always like that. And then, you know, my dad was telling her how his back was, like, really bad or something, which I thought was kind of funny. And then, like, you know, my dad was talking about my work. He was like, oh, yeah, Enna's doing pretty well. She's having a lot of fun. He's like, I watch her stream sometimes. I look at my dad, I'm like, Mom doesn't know that I stream. And he's like, oh, I watch her music her music making sessions sometimes. And I'm like, yeah, that's better. My mom didn't hear it, by the way, it's fine. It's more of my aunt. I just don't want my aunt to know. So yeah, my dad was saying that like I was having a really fun time. It looked like I'm in the happiest I've been in a while, is what he said, okay? And then my mom was also like, yeah, she seems like she's doing a lot better than compared to when she was like a teen and in her early 20s. And my dad was like, yeah, she turned out pretty okay. And I was like, what is happening? Like, yo, let me just tell you, Asian parents don't do this, okay? The fact that they do this probably means we three have been through so much shit. Like, actually. So, like, they were just like, oh yeah, did you hear, like, Enna's newest? Because I uploaded the Etheria True End arrangement. My dad was talking about that, which I feel was really awkward, but okay. I mean, I'm not really used to my parents complimenting me and also, like, keeping up with what I do. So it was really sweet, but also I was just, like, kind of nervous for some reason. It was a weird feeling. He was like, yeah, did you hear Enna's Etheria True End arrangement? And my mom was like, yeah, she actually showed me this, like, a month ago. It's really good. It's like, yeah, our daughter wrote this. And I was like, what the f***? I can't believe you're acknowledging something about me. I look 20 years late, but okay, I'll take it. And then my mom's like, yeah, she's doing pretty well. It's a really good song. And I was like, low-key, I was about to cry, but I held it in. I was like, okay, guys, I think this is good. I was like, what the f*** is happening to my Asian parents? I feel like I died today, and I'll be like, you know what? I'm good now. But I don't want to, because I want to find a beautiful husband. So that's my next goal. But like, I was like, this is really fucking awkward. A little bit uncomfortable, but I feel like pretty good too. I was like, oh my god, this is kind of hard to talk about. It was weird. It was like kind of nice, but also kind of uncomfortable. And I was like, okay, let's talk about something else, please. And then, you know, to kind of lighten the mood, because I was gonna start crying, you know, because they said like, oh yeah, Enna, she does a pretty good job. She listens. She's a good girl. So, you know, in order for me to stop myself from being emotional, I was just like, you're welcome. And then they both laughed. And then, you know, I literally, honestly had a hard time keeping it together. So, you know, I loved running away. So I was like, okay, I kind of have to take a shit. So can we end this call soon? And they both laughed again. And then my dad, like, roasted me in front of my mom. My dad was like, Enna is still a baby. Yesterday, I took her out for lunch. We entered the restaurant and she went to take a shit. And then she started eating. And then after she finished eating, she asked me, she said, Dad, I want a cheesecake. Which is what I said. I was like, Dad, I want to eat a cheesecake for some reason. Can we go eat a cheesecake? You know, he was just trying to say that like, oh my god, I'm so spoiled here and I'm kind of like acting like a baby. Which honestly, I feel like I should because I literally take care of myself every single day, you know, on the other side of the world. Okay, and I take care of my mom too. So like, yeah, if I want a cheesecake, I'm gonna ask you for a cheesecake because you're the only like parent that's still relatively healthy. And you know, I would like to be spoiled as well, you know, until I find a boyfriend that can replace you to buy me a cheesecake. You won't buy me a cheesecake because you're my father. So I wanted a cheesecake and he brought me to this really nice cheesecake place and he had a cup of coffee and I had a cheesecake and then after the cheesecake I low-key had to take another shit. I don't know why, but I really felt poopy that day. Maybe it's because I felt like really happy, so when I get happy I think I just have to poo more or something. I don't know, but he was making fun of me for it in front of my mom. He was just like, she's just eating, shitting, eating, and then shitting again. He's like, is she okay? Does she do that in Canada? And she's like, oh well, she does eat quite a bit, especially when she's happy, so that's good. And my dad was just like, yeah, she hasn't grown up since she was a baby. And I was like, okay, I need to go take a shit again. So I didn't actually have to take a shit, I just had to go, like, so I don't like cry. So honestly, yesterday was a nice day and I feel like I can sort of let go of the fact that sometimes life doesn't really like end up exactly the way that I want it to. Obviously, I still feel like there will be times where I'm like, oh my god, it could have been like this, but it's not. But it could have been worse too. And I'm really happy my parents are both really grounded and they do so much. They're so hardworking. I feel like they really do deserve so much more, but they do so well and they become so good despite the circumstances. So I'm very proud of them. Yeah, it's not easy to like go through stuff and then come out of it like in one piece. They've definitely not come out of it in one piece. We're all a little broken and sad inside, but my mom has schizophrenia and she's like under the most extreme medication that I've ever heard of. And she still does like 50 crunches every night before she sleeps just to make herself just slightly healthier. My mom's crazy insane. Literally and also in a good way. Honestly, she says the most depressing things and it's very vague and very straightforward, but she's so right. You know, she can't really say that she's feeling good or like feeling better because she just isn't. So she'll just say, it is what it is. She will always say that. I'll be like, how are you feeling, mom? And she'll be like, yeah, I'm feeling the way that it is. My mom is so truthful. It's so funny. My dad also works really hard. He's just so kind. So many shitty things have happened to him and he's always just like, but you know, it could always be worse. It's low-key kind of like Ren, but like with a temper. So what I'm trying to say is my parents are always doing their best. Like actually, it's crazy. I should probably like step up my game. I feel like I have a very high like expectation now because they're always like trying so hard. So I should do that too. Yeah. You're not schizo too, right? I don't know. I could be, but if that never happens, I'm probably not here anymore, so it doesn't matter to you. Also, I hope one day medicine gets more advanced and we can find cures for many things. But until then, you know, this is just the way that it is. Life is so difficult. But it's not that bad, I guess.
Always wanted everybody to call me One-chan.
I'm gonna get demonetized.